Okay, so this is something that, as I told you in the introductory video, normally we meet in the little theater. I give you a hard copy of this and walk you through. Instead, here I am just talking over the screen. I know that you wouldn't be in this class if you didn't have advanced reading skills, but nevertheless, maybe this can avert some questions by me just talking you through it, all right? So first of all, this is worth about 6% of your first semester grade. It's about 5.5%. And you are responsible for reading all the content in this document. So here, new for this year, once we had to go at home in March of 2020, we had to start a Google Classroom because we don't know what to anticipate, whether it's in August or it's in November or in March again. I'm starting from scratch with a whole new different Google Classroom. So like normally I can give you every last thing for the whole year on our old Google site. This year I can't quite do that. So this is going to be a work in progress. Now, obviously, if you're watching this video, you've already gotten into our Google Classroom. This is where everything is going to be. Everything is going to be disseminated from the Google Classroom. Assignments, resources, materials, everything will be there. When you log on now, you're like, oh, there's not that much there. When you log back on in August, right before we start, and I'll send you an email alert to say everything's up on the Google Classroom. The entire year will be there. Every test will be there. Everything will be there. Now, I'll still be able to share with you what everything looked like last year, but I want to be able to give you, just wanted to give you a heads up as to why everything is not presented in Google Classroom, because this was like being a new teacher again, switching over to online, and it's going to take me all summer to get all of our content onto the 2021 Google Classroom, okay? Very good. All right. So the first thing, I hope you already watched the summer assignment intro. I put a direct link there. That's just me meeting you, kind of explaining everything to you. It's really short. And then obviously you're watching this video, so I don't need to put a link to it. All right. While everything is going to be up on the Google Classroom, there is a Google folder where all of this resides, which I also shared with you. So I'm just going to open it up here. And you can see I got a couple of just things that are randomly down at the bottom, but it's really organized, and you can see where everything is there. You don't need to use this, but it's just there for you as well. Okay. All right, so let's get to the actual assignment. All right, why do we do this? You're a kid, it's summertime, I know you should be out playing, but as you sign up to take an AP class, we're really behind in that when we start, it's really hard to finish the class by, usually the AP exam is on May 7th, May 8th, May 6th, something like that. We have to be all the way into the 21st century by then. We have to do such a fast-paced cursory job as it is. It's a survey class, that if we didn't have the summer assignment, it would be 10 times worse. So in order to finish the curriculum, you don't have to come to school at night or anything like that. Like we'll cover it all in class, but that means we have to do this in the summertime. Okay. And the other thing that I wanted to point out is with the school setting. So it's June 1st, 2020, the day that I published this. I'm planning everything as if we're back to school. Like August 24th, we're there. If there's a change, and I say if, I have no inside information, no one's going to tell me anything. I'm not on the recovery team. I understand they can't make a decision. That's not a shot by any means. If they have to make a change, I'll communicate that to you. I'll fire off an email, and I will err on the side of over communicating with you. Regardless though, okay, whether we're back to school normal August 24th, we're totally online school, we're at some sort of hybrid school in shifts or whatever they come up with, this summer assignment's not changed, okay, both the test and the written portion. So let's just get that clear right away. Communication. So things have gotten a little bit different. Like I said, I'm so frustrated because I'm really big on the very least I can do for you as a teacher is be ultra organized, because you're all taking advanced classes, you're all involved in extracurricular activities. I want to give you the whole year right away, and I can't get that done on the 2021 brand new site. So if we click on, I gave you a link to the folder for our detail sheets from last year. And so I shared this with you before when I talked about, taking APUSH as a class. Ignore the post AP, because we never got to that. But if you look at the first 9 weeks detail, here it all is, right? And every day you can see there's links to what we were doing, whether it is our notes, right? So the very first thing that we do is take a look at the Constitution. I asked you to read the Constitution. There's a link to the Constitution, which now I can't, there we go, close out. The class notes, I've typed up all the notes for you. So that takes us to our old page, and that's where then you can access our class notes, and you can see how I've gotten it all typed up. You can play around with this. You don't need me to walk you through all this. But the whole point of me giving this to you is so that you can go through and see all of our assignments. Anything in red is where we're writing something. So, political thought, here we go. Like, do we have a James Madison problem? You can click on that and it'll take you right to the link. And then if you want to see what the reading looks like, this is one that most of the stuff I've converted to a Google Doc. This, unfortunately, is still just a PDF because it's a chapter from a book. So I'll give you hard copies of everything, but for redundancy's sake, I'll always give you electronic copies. So anyways, the whole point is you can see I have the whole year plan. Now, again, this is last year. I just have to retool the format. And we always add new stuff, right? Like, do we have a James Madison problem? It's a whole new lesson this year. Really good stuff from Gordon Wood's book. And it's a good way because it's like, all right, here's James Madison, the guy that we associate as being the author of the Constitution, yet he becomes a leader of the opposition to the Federalist Party during the Washington administration. So that was a good new thing. A new thing we put in this year too was when we were looking at the West, we really dropped anchor and spent time. We had a massive assignment on the gunfight at the OK Corral and the myth of the cowboy, right? And we watched three movies that had the gunfight at the OK Corral, My Darling Clementine, Gunfight at the OK Corral, Tombstone, right? And we read all these articles about cowboys and like, and why are they portrayed like this in movies? I mean, all this stuff is fiction. Like, why are we still obsessed with it in 2020? So we're always adding some new things too. So this is not set in stone, and you're going to see I'm changing the format for the 9 weeks objective exam as we're going to all the stimulus-based questions. The Blue Book dates changed around a little bit. Those are our in-class essay exam. But this is a really good look at, each 9 weeks. And what I like about it is you can click and see exactly what we're doing. Because one thing, when you signed up for this class in January, I tried to put it all out there so that there's no surprises. Everything is as advertised. Again, the only thing I have to do is slightly modify the objective exam for the 9 weeks in terms of the stimulus-based multiple choice questions, replacing the textbook-based multiple choice questions. Okay, so let me close some of this stuff out here. Back to the summer assignment. Okay. Back with communication. It's my job to be here working every day in the summer. Like, that's it. You want to teach AP history, right? What's the old expression? You pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud too. So I realized that teaching this is awesome. I'm getting to teach some of the best kids in the school. I love teaching this class, and I understand that means I got to work. So you email me in the summertime. It's not an imposition. If there's anything that's unsure, let me know, and I will get right back to you, okay? All right, so there are 4 parts to the summer assignment. Part 1 and 2 go together. You read the textbook. There's 5 chapters in the textbook you're reading. But since we kind of switched everything online, I just film myself like we are here doing a conceptualization page for you. So it helps you to contextualize so you're not just reading cold, but you can actually see. I'm explaining some of the stuff in the reading to you before you go ahead and read it. So you got reading in the textbook, and then you've got written work, which you are submitting on August 6th. And then you have an exam the second day of school. So those are the various parts. We've got watch the short videos. They're only like 15 minutes each. The chapter 5 one's only half that much. Submit your written work, and then you're taking a test the second day of school. And I'll go into detail about each of those now. All right. So this is brand new. And like I said, they're only about 15 minutes each, these YouTube conceptualization videos. They don't replace the reading at all. All it does is help kind of focus you And it's just like a way that I can kind of talk you through what you're supposed to get out of each chapter. I posted them on the summer assignment, but they're also here. Here's a link to the playlist, right? Where you can see, I'm not going to click it and open it up because then it would play a video over top of me. But I really recommend that you watch these, and you can see they're all about 15 minutes for each chapter before you read it. I think it's going to help make a lot of sense. This is something that's brand new this year. When you're reading the textbook, you know, it's, as I told you, I wish I could give you a hard copy, but we did make an online version of it. Like we bought an online version of it, and then I just tweaked it to make it into to Google Docs. And normally I break it up each night, like as you click on that detail sheet, and it's like read pages, you know, 181 through 187, and you click the link, just those 7 pages come up for you. So I attached each of these to the assignment on the Google Classroom, and a copy of it's made for you. I just put all the hyperlinks here so that I could get it, and here you see. So let's pick up the one on the American Revolution. Like I said, it's the textbook. It's just taken in, and I added the pages, so when you do citations, you know the page. The only thing that's frustrating is, as we kind of scroll down, when they have the inserts, it's sometimes breaks up the writing a little bit, but you can still see that. Yes, like when they interject, like the debating the past, it just kind of kicks in and it disrupts the flow of the regular text, but you're in an AP class, you can get by it. Okay, so there are the 5 chapters for the 155 pages that you need to read. Okay, close that out, close that out. Here we are, summer assignment. Okay, the written work. So it's a writing intensive course, and as you look at those detail sheets, you can see all the writing that we do and the different types of writing that we do. I need to grade your writing. I need to provide you feedback with writing before we hit class so that we are ready to go. But I did give you a lot of direction for your writing here as well. So there's 3 kinds of essays on the AP exam in May. Short answer, which is like A, B, C. It's like a question, but it's really 3 questions. Your standard long essay, which is your multi-paragraph essay, and then a document-based question. So the summer assignment and the first blue book, which is our essay exam in October, features the short answer question part, right? The part that's A, B, C. So these were written by the textbook. Let me open this up, and you're going to respond to just 1. Okay, so here's all the potential prompts. Okay, I didn't put the directions on here. I have the directions on the sheet, but there's 2 prompts per chapter. You only have to answer 1 prompt total, right? And you're answering A, B, and C. So you see what the prompts look like there. So you have a tremendous amount of choice. You're answering 1 out of the 10 that I have provided. So let me scroll down here. Okay. And you're answering parts A, B, and C for each of them. So you're basically writing 3 essays. Each part will be its own 1-paragraph essay. Each part will be 200 words. So you're in effect writing 3 200-word single paragraphs. And I'm going to be really clear on the format with you here as well. So there's 10 prompts. You pick 1. Each prompt is 3 parts. You write A, B, and C, 200 words each. You're writing 3 200-word paragraph essays. And you have to pick, like, if you pick chapter 5, prompt 1, you have to answer A, B, and C from that. You can't pick A from this prompt, B from this prompt, C from this. No. Right? If you pick chapter 2, prompt 2, you're answering A, B, and C from that prompt. Citing is important. And so you're going to use proper Turabian citation. We don't use MLA in high school or in history. We use Turabian. Sometimes it's also called Chicago style. And you're going to have 2 citations from the textbook in proper Turabian format. So that's a total of 6 citations, 2 per prompt. You have 3 parts per prompt. Or sorry, two citations for each part of the prompt. It's really important. I have links to how we do Turabian footnotes, so don't worry. You have to write out the prompt, because what happens is if you write an answer and you don't answer parts of the prompt, I need to be able to highlight that part of the prompt and make a comment. So I just did a sample here. Say you pick chapter 4, prompt 1, right? You write down A and you type out the whole prompt. Then you write out your 200-word single paragraph. Please note we indent paragraphs with your 2 citations. and you leave a space, and then you write, and of course all of your work is double spaced. I've got that included later. Then you write out chapter 4, prompt number 1B. Write out all of the prompt, write out your 200-word answer with your footnotes. Chapter 4, prompt 1, part C. You write out the whole prompt. Don't just give me 1C. You have to write out the whole prompt. Again, because if you say your answer wasn't specific to this prompt, then I've got to highlight in that prompt and direct your attention to what you should have answered, okay? When you submit your work, you are submitting it electronically, and it has to be in a Google Doc. Don't upload a PDF. And you are submitting it through the Google Classroom. And your deadline for submission is Thursday, August 6th at 11:59 p.m. If you crank this out tomorrow, you could submit it tomorrow. Now, there's a tremendous amount of preparation that I have to do to get ready to grade it. And for the sake of continuity, I'm going to grade it all at once, because there's about umpteen million other things that I need to do this summer for the course. And then starting on the 7th, I'm going to start grading it. But again, you want to check the box. You want to get this out of the way. But remember, once you submit it, you can't like turn it back in again. The reason that I have you submit it so early is I start school on the 17th, and I need 10 days to do this. So it's basically about 20 minutes a pop. So that's only 3 per hour, and there's 90 of you. Probably with people join, it might be as high as 100. So that's why I need the 10 days so that I can get it done, and then you'll have it returned immediately. And please make sure that you click turn in. I'm not going to go rummaging through to see if you've turned it in. You're in an AP class. You click turn in. Okay. Now I anticipate way fewer conflicts this year because unfortunately so many things are closed down. But if there's something where you can't turn now, no, don't say, hey, I'm going to be in Myrtle Beach August 6th. You turn it in before you leave. Okay. But if you're like, I'm going to the Brazilian rainforest to do missionary work, I don't have internet access, I won't be back. I'll be leaving June 10th and I won't be back until August 1st. Well, my goodness, you're going to do missionary work in the Brazilian rainforest. That's more important in life than APUSH. I'll say, that's fine, Johnny. You have a 2-week extension, okay? But don't email me July 31st, say, hey, I'm leaving for vacation tomorrow, man. I'm not going to be back until the 8th. No. If you're going to be gone the 6th, turn it in ahead of time. The idea of a conflict is there's something long-term where you're gone for an extended period of time. If you know you're leaving July 17th and you're not returning until August 17th, turn it in July 16th, okay? But I'm reasonable. So like I said, if you've got you still got to do this. You're not getting out of this. And you still got to take the test the second day of school. But like, there's a lot more in life that's way more important than this. I'm not going to self-aggrandize here. So if you got something going on this summer where, like my example, where you're gonzo and you're not coming back until August 2nd, you just let me know, but let me know in advance. It's only fair that you turn this in on time. Please make sure that you see the late penalty. You can't take any late penalties in here. You can't take any zeros in here. That's just the way the class is challenging. So you've got to do your work. You've got to do your work on time. Okay. A couple of other things with writing here. 3 things we don't do in formal writing in APUSH. You never write in the first person. Whatever you write is what you believe. Okay. So I think the Revolutionary War had an overall negative impact on women. No, you write. The Revolutionary War had a negative impact on women. I'm not saying that's correct. Right? So if you write it, it's obviously what you believe. You can never write in the first person. It's a significant grade deduction. You have to double space. Like I said, I'm reading 90 to 100 of these online. I can't read single space. You've got to double space it. And again, all of these are point deductions, and make sure you indent each paragraph. You're writing 1 3-part prompt, and A, B, and C, parts A, B, and C are all their own paragraph. I have a rubric. Having to do this online complicates things because they're 3 70-point rubrics. But I have to make it like one gigantic rubric where it's topic sentence part A, topic sentence part B, topic sentence part C, evidence analysis part A, evidence analysis part B, evidence analysis part C, and so on down the line. So it'll be like one gigantic rubric that combines, the 3 rubrics. But it doesn't matter. Each essay is being graded with the same rubric. This will make sense when you click on it when I open it up here. So even though there's 3 70-point rubrics, I'm not making this worth 210 points. It's worth 25 points. So if you got 20 out of 25, that's what, 80%. So, excuse me. So if you got 80%, then I would enter it as a 20 out of 25. Okay. All right. And the logistics. So I already clicked on the written prompts from the summer assignment. How do I do Turabian style footnotes? Well, you click here and you read all of the directions. I always give you the citation. Okay. 57 is just the page number. You got to really pay attention to IBID, right? Well, how you use IBID. So I'm not going to spend time going over this with you. You can read all of this. It's really important. You can't wing this. And listen, man, I hate grading citations, but it's something you have to do correctly. And I will, like, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I don't need to feel better about myself by taking a point off because you forgot to put a period after IBID, or you put IBID as a capital I instead of a lowercase I, but I've got to do it. The rubric is right here. Like I said, I will attach this rubric to, it's just going to have to be threefold to the summer assignment. And here you go. And the reason I attach the rubric here is when I do a rubric, when I put the rubric on the Google Classroom, I can't write all this stuff out. It would take me 80 years. So if your evidence and analysis is proficient and you see that you got a 32 on it, then you understand by looking at this where you fall. And I'm going to have beaucoup comments on your essay. So that will help make sense. So there is the rubric, but again, I'll be attaching it via the Google Classroom. It will just be 3 rubrics in one since you have 3 writing assignments. And then this is super important, the single paragraph essay guide. You have to read this as it takes you through all this stuff with topic sentences. I wrote samples for topic sentences, diagrammed these sentences, more samples, evidence and analysis, give you samples of what is evidence, samples of what is analysis, and then a conclusion. This is going to be really hard for you guys. So I gave you examples of conclusions as well. So make sure you spend some time on that. But again, I'm going to give you a ton of feedback on your writing. Okay, so that's our writing part. And finally, the last thing, the objective exam, right? It's a way to make sure that you've read the text, and it is to prepare you for your stimulus-based questions, which is a big part of the AP exam. So you've got all summer long, even though you're turning in your written work on August 6th, you have all summer long to get prepared for the objective exam, which is the second day of school, right? And there's 2 parts. You take both parts the same day. So part 1 is the stimulus-based questions. So you've got a copy of 130 stimulus-based multiple choice questions. I'm picking 40 of them, okay? You can't use your packet on the exam, but I don't know how you got it. Like, I'm copying and pasting the questions from the packet to the actual exam. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do it. And it looks like this. Let me get on to the logistics. So this is a switch that I made this year. And the objective questions, the 55 objective questions that make up the exam are all stimulus-based. And so our summer assignment exam and our 4 9-weeks exam are going to pull stimulus-based questions. So here you go. You can see they're all different types. And then there's a series of questions about them. And I might just pull, one question from David Stannard's. I might just pull question 6 here. And then from the next one on Francisco Coronado, maybe I pull both of these questions. You don't have to memorize the stimulus. They will be there as well. So 40 questions, you'll see that this is divided up into, let me scroll down. You can see all the different kinds. They're in different time periods. Let me get to another time period. I'm still on that one. Still on time period 1. Okay, so there you see that's where it hits 1607. So you can kind of use that to follow along. Okay. No, we're good. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. So again, I'm going to pull 13 from period 1, probably 14 from period 2, and 13 from period 3. But it's verbatim. The problem is with these questions, like, you can't just look them up, okay? So as we, some of them are images. Let me get one that's a text, okay? So here we have Nathan Cole talking about his travels, right? And, here's the question: which of the following developments in the 17th and 18th century does this excerpt describe its effects of? Well, again, it's not like something that you can just look up. It's, all right, I read the chapter, and I'm not going to give you the answer, but now I know what he is referring to. You don't turn these in, right? They're not worth points, but it's really gonna help you, because again, I'm gonna copy and paste this onto the exam the second day of school. If you have a specific question about one of these questions, you can email me, but if you're like, hey, I'm a little concerned, is A or B the right answer for 40? Well, I might try to direct you a little bit, but I'm certainly not going to give you the right answer. So you have to work a little bit on this, and it's not something that you want to wait until the last second to try to do. So 40 questions pulled from those 130. Okay. And then there are 20 questions that you haven't seen before. Okay. And that is the traditional multiple choice questions. I've written them, right? 4 per chapter times the 5 chapters. That's how we get 20. You don't turn in the study guide. You can't use the study guide on this part of the test, but look what I made for you. So the textbook identified terms. They call them people, events, places, or ideas. People, places, events. And so I listed them all for you, and there's the page number too. So, take something, like conquistadors, right? Well, they're on page 12. And if I were to ask you a question, let me just improv something here. What was the primary motivation of conquistadors? A, to explore new lands. B, to make money. C, to convert people to Catholicism. D, well, I ran out of answers, right? But the answer is obviously to make money, right? This is the ultimate, this is the ultimate money grab of all time. So it'd be something that is a really, really big idea, not something that is like, hey, what year was the Pueblo Revolt? Like, come on, we're not playing those games, but rather, the Pueblo Revolt was caused by A, B, C, D. The Pueblos revolted against Spanish, English, French, Dutch, something like that. So, again, mercantilism. Which of the following best defines mercantilism? Okay, it's, again, we're not playing Trivial Pursuit, and what year was Jamestown founded? No, right? It's going to be something that's a big idea, and you can see it goes through and it has page numbers for each of these. Okay. So there's our 2 parts for our test. 40 questions come right from that packet. But again, I might pull 1 question from, a stimulus, two questions from another stimulus. So there you go. And then 20 questions that I'm writing using the study guide, the people, places, and events. So it's your job to identify the main ideas, but my job is to make sure that it's a question that tests one of those big ideas, not some minutia. So I think that's it. That's a lot. I'm sorry for, like I said, we should be meeting in person in the Little Theater. This is awkward and frustrating for me to do it this way. But if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to email me. I'm online every day. It's my job. This is kind of a big deal to me. So good luck. And I cannot wait to see you guys in person August 24th.